All right, we are live here now. Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon to everyone, wherever our listeners are. We are here in the international break just before Game Week 24. Game Week 23 hasn't finished yet, by the way. I'm here with my buddies, APL Wrangler and ZD. So today's discussion is mostly going to be more macro. So we're not going to specifically be talking about Game Week 24 or players to target and so on. This is more going to be what's the strategy going forward, right? Not just Game Week 24, all the way from 24 to 38. All right, so let's get started. Wrangler, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right. Uh, it's just like kind of a never-ending international break looks like.
Yeah.
But yeah, excited. Hopefully one more week and well, less than one more week. So and it's
Yeah.
gonna be very busy
Mm-hmm.
fixture. So yep, let's see how it goes.
All right, Zidi, how are you doing, buddy?
Yep, doing good. Yeah, it's going to be. It seems like a long break, but
Yeah.
that's good that it's coming to end. I think we are going to have some game on Saturday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, with our favorite king and Dennis.
Well, yeah, Dennis
Uh,
is not there, but yeah, yeah,
yeah, virtually. I
I
mean,
actually have
virtually,
Foster
yeah,
by the way. So
yeah.
oh yes,
You are tripled up on Watford, right? Yeah, so you still have two left. So
okay,
yeah, that Dennis red card feels like almost like a month ago or so, right?
yeah.
It feels forever.
He
Yeah,
could
but
go to AFCON easily.
yeah, he should have.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get started. So as I said, so today we will have our Game Week 24 preview video before Game Week 24, hopefully. So Game Week 24 deadline is on Tuesday, right? If I'm not wrong. So we'll try to at least get our Game Week preview out by Sunday. Again, hopefully, given our schedules work out. But this is going to be more general discussion for the rest of the season. So we are going to talk about fixtures, uh, roadmap for premium rotation, how we want to plan for the next few weeks. We'll talk about pros and cons of wildcard in Game Week 24. It's a pretty popular strategy nowadays, especially if you look at APL Twitter. A lot of people are or planning to wildcard in Game of 24. So we'll talk about that. And in general, we'll talk about our cheap strategies at the end, kind of how we want to play all our chips, right? A lot of us have two free hits, wildcard, bench boost, triple captaining, everything left. So we'll talk about that, how we want to plan for that. So let's dive into it. So first of all, just a quick look at Ben Krelin's long view fixtures, as we always do. So the only thing to kind of notify here is essentially in game week 25, uh, Manu and Brighton's double was confirmed. That happened before, uh, basically during the international break, right? So that's the only confirmed double that we have in the next few game weeks. Uh, Today, it was this morning, right? The Liverpool Leeds news came out. So it's still kind of a rumor. It's not 100% sure yet, but it seems very likely. The source, at least, is very reliable. So there is a very high likelihood that Liverpool and Leeds may double in game of 26. But apart from that, we don't know anything about the other doubles. There were other rumors about Arsenal doubling potential with Liverpool now that Liverpool is doubling with Leeds in 26, so that's less likely. Brighton and Tottenham may double in game 26. That's still possible. That was a rumor a week or so ago, so that still may happen. So, but a lot of things still may slot in by the time we get our game week 24 going, or after game week 24, before game week 25, something like that. So that's basically what we wanted to talk about on this one. But again,
here just one. Sorry, go ahead.
go
Sorry
ahead.
to cut you off. Yeah, just one thing. Like in 24, by the way, Arsenal and Brighton are blanking.
Mhm.
So although Brighton is having double game week in 25, but they are blanking in 24. So just to
Chelsea and Brighton are blanking in 24.
sorry, my
Yeah,
bad. Chelsea and Brighton. Sorry, yeah, Chelsea and Brighton are blanking. So
yeah,
just yeah, want to let you know, guys.
yeah, absolutely. All right. So just next one before we dive into our strategies a little bit, just a quick look at our effective XG. So most of the popular sites, when they look at the upcoming fixtures, they look at it just kind of in general the team's strength as per their XG or just looking at the opponent's XGC, right? So there is generally no combination of both. There are lots of different models, of course, out in the market, but this is more basically for our easy comprehension, right? We wanted to have a easy model, a comprehensive model that we can easily understand and interpret. So this is essentially interpreting the XG of a certain team in terms of opponent's XGC, season XGC, average XGC, and whether the fixture is home and away or not. So of course, a lot of teams have very different performance, attacking or defensive performance at home versus when they are away. So we wanted to capture that also. And we'll probably make a different video just about it to kind of talk more about this, what our idea was for this. But just looking forward for the next 4 weeks. And why are we talking about only 4 weeks? Because essentially that's what we are targeting when we go in our next few slides. Will show that that's essentially what we are at least right now caring about, because those are the fixtures that we know about potentially, right? Beyond 28 blanks and everything, we are not quite sure yet. So just kind of easy to look at these 4 game weeks now, given with the given information. So of course the usual suspects, right? So Liverpool with their double, even though they're blank in game week 27, they are expected to outscore everyone by a pretty handsome margin. Man City, of course, they don't double at all, but again, they are one of those teams, right? They are free scorers, so they are also expected to score around 8 goals in the next 4 game weeks. West Ham have good fixtures. Manchester United have good fixtures. And again, when we go to our next slides, you'll see that potentially those are the teams we'll concentrate on. In addition to Tottenham, as we said, that Tottenham, there is a potential that they may double in game week 26. Still, there is a potential. So Tottenham, of course, will be another team that we'll concentrate on. So with that, let's move on to our next section, where we are going to talk about planning for the next 4 game weeks, and we'll basically be focusing on our premium attackers, because that's again what we mostly care about, right? Because those are the guys that will be captaining week in, week out. So Wrangler, you want to take over from here? Just kind of talk us through your strategy.
Yep, sure. So as Kante mentioned in the previous slides, that the effective XGC, effective XG, like Liverpool, Man City, and Man United, they are actually kind of ahead compared to others. West Ham is there too, but those are the three teams, and we also included Tottenham here. Why did we include here? Because as Kante mentioned, that we are going to focus on the premium attackers here, right? And the premium attackers are basically splitted into these 4 teams. There are Vardy and others as well, but it's not FPL wise right now. It's not interesting. So we thought to kind of give this picture, because whenever we make our team, so we are thinking from 24 to 27 window and moving forward as well. But um, if we would like to kind of structure our team in for these 4 game weeks, so we have to think about the premiums here, right? And that's what we are going to focus in next few slides as well. But here we are just showing that what are the opponents they are playing, especially if you see like Man United is having double in 25. So and Liverpool potentially have double, as Kante mentioned. Now the color code here is showing that for each game week, the yellows are the possible captain options. So if you see in 24, it could be anyone. Like if Salah, if he would be like not in semis in AFCON, so we would expect that he would be definitely playing 90 minutes in 24 against Leicester City. He might still play, but he could be probably most likely captain. But since now there is some confusion, now anyone from any of this team can be a captain, because the fixture looks good. In 25, it's green, as you see, because the likely captain option, because Manchester United having doubles, and it's a good fixture. So we are expecting that people are going to have captaincy on Man United, either Ronaldo or Bruno, that we're going to see later. On 26, since even if there was no double, since Liverpool is playing against Norwich, I think that would be the like likely captain option. But now since we have now double game weeks, almost we are expecting it might be a triple captain even.
Mm-hmm.
So and in 27, as you can see, there is a blank for Liverpool, but other yellows. So all of these are good fixture for Man United, Man City, and Tottenham, and those are all possible captain option. And as Kante mentioned before, right, that Tottenham could be a double game week in 26 as well, against Brighton and Man City. We'll see.
Yep.
It's still a rumor, but we can talk about it whenever it comes. Okay. So yeah, that's what I wanted to convey here. Unless you have anything.
No, I think we're good. Yeah, we can get on to the next one. Just before we move on, since we're looking at all the players'
Mhm.
names, who do both of you have out of all these players right now in your team before making any transfers ahead of Game of 24?
I
Wrangler.
have Ronaldo and Jota right now.
Okay. ZD,
I have Bruno, Jota.
Bruno and Jota. Okay. I have Ronaldo and Jota. I don't have Foden, but I
I
have
think you have
KDB.
KDB. You have
Yeah,
KDB,
I
right?
got KDB last week for a -4 hit. So yeah, I have a Man City asset at least right now, but I don't have Salah. And but again, we'll talk through it.
I think
Um,
you have Bernard as well, right?
I
Yes.
have Bernardo. Yeah, I have been carrying Bernardo forever.
He. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
but
I
I
think
would.
Kante. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to have Foden more, but it's not better than nothing, right?
Right.
So I'm not too unhappy, but I would have been happier having say like a Foden instead of a Bernardo. But we'll talk about it. We'll talk through it.
Right.
So go ahead, Wrangler.
So yeah, so as we mentioned, right, the fixture
Mhm.
look good, and in terms of premiums, I think people will be kind of having or kind of around these people, or they will structure their team
Mhm.
considering these people. So as we already mentioned, right, we have Ronaldo or Bruno, we have Jota as well. You already have KDB. We can talk about KDB later, but people might have Foden, or they might want to bring Foden because Man City's fixture look really good, Brentford and Norwich, and then in 26 Tottenham, but 27 they are again playing against Everton.
Mhm.
So if I kind of or we kind of looked into like the possible option, right? And considering the budget as well, like not everybody has budget, right, to accommodate all the players. But if you can accommodate at least four premiums, okay, so four whenever I know here actually we are considering Jota and Foden premiums as well. I mean they are
Mhm.
no less than premium. They are kind of underpriced, I would say,
Absolutely.
but they actually even do better than premiums, right? So we are considering them as a premium as well, right? So out of five, if you can afford four in each game week, that would be the perfect. In the perfect world, it would be the perfect situation. So in 24, as I mentioned, anyone can be captain, and 25, either Ronaldo or Bruno would be like the most popular captain option. Now, here, if you see, right, that there is a red, blue arrow, that if Tottenham doubles in 26, then managers might be moving from Ronaldo to Bruno to directly Kane to Son because it's a very easy swap, right? Direct, and if they
Mhm.
want to attack, although Spurs is gonna play against Man City and Brighton, it's not very like fancy fixture, but it's still if they want to kind of attack it, they can go for it. Otherwise, they can still maintain Ronaldo and Bruno and just move on. Okay, so that's one route out of five category. If we think the premium wise, at least four would be really good. But if you just press the next slide, now a lot of managers like me, I cannot afford four. I mean I can afford four, but if I take four, then my balance of the team will be completely shattered. Okay, so I don't want to do that. So in that case, at least three would be good, and at least, I think a lot of people is gonna go with three, unlike Kante who has the team value is good, or his team structure in a way that he can probably afford four. But I think, unless you do wildcard, or unless you want to restructure, or unless you want to take a lot of hits, three would be probably popular, and in that case no Man City uh, could be there. Or we'll move. We'll see later. Jota might not be there as well. But this is just to show that if you are Man United owners right now, then this could be one route to go. Do you have any comment here?
Yeah, just one quick thing to mention is that you do have two Man City defenders, right? So you are well covered there.
Hmm.
So even though if you don't have any Man City attackers, of course it's kind of a FOMO thing, right? I'll miss out on all the goals and everything. But you have Cancelo and you have Diaz, so at least you are
Or
not
Laporte.
missing out.
Or Laporte.
Or some people may have Laporte,
Hmm.
so you're not completely missing out anyways, right? So at least you have some stake on it. So, um, but yeah, just wanted to mention that. Next one.
Right. Yeah. So next one is basically there are a lot of people who might have Kane, right? Kane have been doing good, and people have Kane. Son, probably people get rid of him because of his injury. Now, I think a lot of people is gonna go for Kane to Ronaldo, uh, because in again they want to attack the double game week, right? And it's a good fixture, so that could be a popular transfer from Kane to Son. Sorry, Kane to Ronaldo. They can either do in 24 or 25, whoever, whenever they do. But I think that could be a popular option. And again, it's the same thing, right? If 26 is gonna be double for Spurs, they might
Mhm.
go back again to Spurs, but otherwise they're gonna move with the Ronaldo or Bruno, and rest like Salah, Jota, and Foden if they can afford, like Man City. It will be like that, right? And Bernardo could be an option. I mean, it's not a buy option, but if you already have Bernardo, I think it's a good hold, because the fixture people are gonna. I mean, Man City is gonna have, right? I mean, UCL is coming, so it's gonna be very, like, tight fixture.
Yeah.
And in that time, Bernardo could be nailed, and there'll be rotation. And in that case, Bernardo will be even more forward, and he will have more probabilities of having attack.
Yeah.
We are just expecting, but I think Bernardo is a hold, and it's a
Yeah,
good
it's kind
time
of
to
a
hold it.
luxury transfer, right? If you don't
Yes.
have any other issues with your team, then you maybe think about it moving him on to someone else. But yeah, given the fixtures, it's kind of a luxury transfer. Absolutely. Let me just ask you here also, both of you, quickly. So say, uh, out of all these, right? So we are looking at Kane and Ronaldo and Son and Bruno kind of swapping with each other, right? Between fixtures. Do you have a preference between Ronaldo and Bruno, and Ken versus Son, Ronaldo versus Bruno, and Ken versus Son? Do you prefer the attackers more from these two teams, or do you prefer the midfielders more? ZD, you have a preference? Just completely neutral standpoint. Say you don't have anyone of them in your team.
Mm, it's tough to say. I mean, this year, attacker is not returning as we are expecting. So, but I mean, Kane is looked very sharp like last
Mhm.
few game weeks. So Kane is good, but whenever Son plays, I mean, Son is a very good option. Although I think people feel more comfortable giving captaincy to Kane rather than Son.
Absolutely.
But he's not a bad option for captaincy. But uh, s- I mean, both of them, it's tough choice. Like for me, actually, I think when Spurs had a good run, I
Mhm.
took Kane. Some people took Son, and there was a one choice, Kane or Son. I took Kane, and Kane actually unfortunately blanked that time, but Son hold I think probably two or
Mhm.
three games. So Son is always actually returns, but people usually tend to keep captaincy to Kane be given his history.
Yeah.
And among Ron and Bruno, I mean Bruno was not in form actually, but given his recent form, people might get attracted to him rather than
Mhm.
Ronaldo. But Ronaldo is obviously, I mean, who has Ronaldo? They can actually hold Ronaldo rather than swapping, getting a cheaper striker and buying a new
Mhm.
buying Bruno, because. But again, if somebody is buying new, probably I would prefer little bit. I'll prefer little bit Bruno probably given his form and he's a midfielder. That's why probably.
Okay. Rambler, you have any preference
I
from a
mean,
neutral
I
standpoint?
already own Ronaldo, so I don't want to talk about. I mean, you understand, like, since I have Ronaldo, I took over Bruno, right? But one thing I want to mention here, that if you want to say buy someone now between Ronaldo and Bruno, I think Bruno would be more preferable. That's because, say, if you don't have Salah, it's easier from to convert
Placeholder kind of a
Bruno
person.
to Salah, right?
Mhm.
And a lot of people will have this. I think, it's gonna be very um, I don't know, it's a dilemma, but it's gonna be like that, and a lot of people will be tempted to get Bruno just because it's easier. Otherwise, if you take like Ronaldo, right, you need to move. Right?
Hmm.
So that's why I think Bruno is preferable, and he's in form as well, right? Looks like he's and um, right now he looks good. So we'll see. I think Bruno would be good shout
Okay.
for 25.
Okay. Let's go to the next one. So this one is with the Man City
Right.
classic, right? Okay. Anything to add here? Same
Uh,
idea
yeah,
essentially, right?
same
Yeah.
idea, right? Exactly. Just it's just for the people who have already Tottenham owners, right?
Hmm.
Like Kane especially.
Okay. Next one.
Yeah, so this one is basically like no Jota, right? As we know, right, Liverpool has a new signing of Luis Diaz. Sadio Mane is coming from AFCON. Firmino is fit, right? So now there are a lot of options, right? And there could be a minute risk for Jota, and it's a valid and legit assumption, right? So in that case, people might think, okay, you know what? I don't want Jota, right? Rather, I will probably go for double Liverpool defense like
Hmm.
Robbo, Robertson, and Trent. So they might not have Jota. So they might just directly, I mean, if the possible, just remove the Jota and bring Salah in their team, and somehow they will have like triple up, having two defense. It can be either Robertson or anyone, right? But in that case, it's just again, if they can afford Foden, I think then they will do Foden because of the Man City's good fixture. So it's just the same thing. Out of four, out of five, you have three, but without Jota, but you
Hmm.
prefer Foden here. Okay, if you want to do in that way, it could be Aston Villa's Coutinho as well. I mean, depends, but that's premium
Yeah.
wise. I think that's another option to think about, right?
Hmm.
And this is gonna be probably, to me, it's gonna be a popular one, right? That's because KDB is in form. They are playing against Brentford and Norwich in
Hmm.
24. As you saw before, right? It's all yellow. It was kind of like all possible options. But if you have KDB in your team, I think it's a very likely captain option. He is superior than others. That's my view. That for 24, KDB is a good option. We'll see also in the FA Cup how Man City plays. That will also probably tell us who is going to be in 24 or 25 moving forward. So we will know. So if you have KDB like you, Kante, you have that privilege. So one way to go is people might not bring Jot as like Salah because you have KDB, and then in 25 you have Norwich, right? Do you want to
Hmm.
get rid of KDB, or you want to bring Salah and attack for the Burnley? It's kind of 50-50 call, but I think people might have KDB if you have already, and even I am also thinking to bring KDB in 24 again just for the captaincy option, right? And then in 26 you can bring Salah, right, from from KDB to Salah direct swap, and again it's just a double. Then Ronaldo Bruno will be Kane's son, but I think this is gonna be a popular transfer or route I can see.
Hmm.
I have an unpopular opinion as well here, and you might not like it. But if you want to attack 25, you can have KDB now in 24. In 25, you have KDB to Bruno, so you'll have both man like Ronaldo and Bruno in 25. So you can attack, and then from Bruno to Salah you can go. Okay, it's gonna be a lot of transfer. If your other like the structure of the team is good and you don't need any other transfer, this could be a potential like route as well if you want to attack. But I think that could be an
Yeah.
option too. So if you want to
Yeah.
anything,
So yeah, I mean, I am kind of in this boat, right? And I mean, I would rather prefer KDB versus Norwich. Even if Bruno has two fixtures, I still don't trust Bruno, to be honest.
Mhm.
He got a lot of points in the double game week, but uh, still given his position now, I was reading a news today that Pogba is back. Once
Mhm.
Pogba is back, where Bruno will be playing is kind of doubtful too. So yeah, not really trusting Bruno at this moment. I would rather prefer KDB over Norwich. I am at least right now. I'm not sure if I'll be able to kind of maintain that until game week 24 or 25 deadline, but not planning to bring in Salah until game week 26. Basically move directly from KDB to Salah, keep Ronaldo. Hopefully, if he doesn't like get injured or like superbly poor performance or whatever. Otherwise, I'll just keep Ronaldo for all the way through 27, right? So
Mhm.
that's currently the idea. But yeah, ZD, you have any thoughts on this right now overall?
No, I mean it's a good strategy, but depends on obviously your team structure.
Hmm.
Right now, I have like 7.7 million in my bank. So I,
Tons of money. Yeah.
yeah, lots of money. So I have like lots of combination in my mind. But these are
Hmm.
good discussion. I mean, to think about it, like where we would go,
Hmm.
So when are you
especially.
planning to bring Salah, GD?
I think I will bring also in 26, not 24.
But you have a lot of
Uh,
money, so who are you gonna bring in 24 or 25? You already have
so
Bruno,
yeah, I already have Bruno. I'm not bringing Ronaldo because it's going to be like I shipped out him and shipped
right?
in. That does
Yeah.
not make
Transfer
feels
lost
good.
essentially.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
so one could be KDB or Foden, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, one of those,
Hmm.
Hmm.
obviously, and probably I would make some other transfer.
Can
And
you afford both, like both Foden and Salah?
yeah, Foden and Salah. Yeah, I will do that actually.
Can
Like
you afford
in
both?
20,
Like, okay, like
yeah, yeah, like
But at a later
one
fixture, right? At a
later
later
fixture,
game
like
week.
Bruno
Yeah.
to Salah, I can do that. Bruno
oh,
to
okay.
Salah.
But you cannot afford like that I mentioned in the previous slides, like
Bruno
Like
Foden.
Bruno, Foden, Salah,
And
and
Salah.
Jota. Can you
Mhm.
afford both of those?
No, not all of them. I can do it if I sacrifice Jota.
I see. Okay, yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Yep. And here again, I am little bit confused with Jota and Robertson, but probably actually it's like all the people now confused who to
Hmm.
take like as a third Liverpool player, Jota or Robertson. Same is I am also confused. But probably I will stuck with Jota rather because I don't want to shuffle right
Yes.
now as I'm not doing wildcard.
Hmm.
Right. Yeah, I mean, on Jota, of course, one quick thing before the video, we were talking about him, right? So, although a lot of people are kind of moving on to him, from him to Robertson as the third Liverpool asset, but I mean, Jota is still elite, right? He's the second highest goal scorer this season. Lots of big chances whenever he plays, and we don't know, even with Diaz coming in, Firmino being fit, does he all of a sudden become irregular in the team? I don't think so yet, right? So I don't want to
I
take that chance. And he is very highly owned, right? Very
Yeah.
high EO. So I definitely don't want to take that chance
Another
at
thing
this
is
point.
usually Klopp integrate new player. He takes
Take
a
some
little bit
time.
time. So
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
uh, probably Jota's minute at least until 26. I think he's secured.
Yep.
Probably
Yeah.
70 minutes, but still it's very
Yeah, I mean,
good.
even if he starts 2 out of 3 and then comes in for a 20-minute on the third match, I'm very
Yeah.
happy with that. I
Yeah.
will be happy with that.
Yeah.
All right, very good discussion. Very good discussion. So let's move on. So our next topic is connected, right? Anything else you wanted to say, Wrangler,
No,
before we
that's
move
not.
on? Okay,
That's
okay.
it.
So our next topic is the wildcard draft for Game Week 24. It's a pretty popular thing going around in Twitter, especially because we are kind of in the Twitter bubble, right? So a lot of people have been talking about this for some time. A lot of people have activated their wildcard earlier in the international break. Some people are still thinking about it because the team looks in a bad shape. A lot of us are stuck with two Watford attackers, right? So that's probably kind of looking tempting for a lot of people, right? To kind of wildcard in Game of 24. So, do you want to do the wildcard draft first? Maybe let me just read out the wildcard draft first, and then we kind of discuss about it
Sure.
uh, uh, together. So, just kind of again, we are not insisting that you have to wildcard in Game of 24 or anything, but if you are planning to, or if you're thinking about wildcarding in Game of 24, given the structure of the team, given the upcoming fixtures, this is how we think it should kind of pan out. And of course, there could be a little bit of sideways moves here and there. So Ramsdale and Sanchez at goal, Digne, Trent, Cancelo, Laporte, and Dallo in the defense line, Rafinha, Ramsey, Jota, Bowen, and Salah in the midfield, Mope, Broja, and Ronaldo in the forward line. So that's essentially the draft that we are looking at. So Wrangler, why not you talk about like kind of what's the thought process behind the people that are
Okay.
thinking about wildcarding in Game Week 24? Why would they want to wildcard?
Right. So yeah, as you mentioned, right? So there could be several reasons to have wildcard, right? If you don't like your team,
Mm-hmm.
or like, if you want to attack the double game weeks coming, right? 25 and 26, and you might not have those like, assets. You might like need lots of restructuring, right? Because the premium option that we said, right? People might
Mm-hmm.
want to have this as well. So in that case, people might be tempted to do the wildcard, right? And there could be several ways to go, but the way we made this, we thought this could be a balanced, uh, we'll say why we think that. It's just kind of like, there are several options as well, but budget wise this could be a good option. That's because if you see that we have double game week 25, right? So we have, if you want to attack, so then in this draft, we have Man United asset Ronaldo, and we kept Ronaldo instead of Bruno. There was a reason for that, and we're going to talk later.
Mm-hmm.
But Ronaldo, and you can have, we put Dalo here, but you can also have Elanga. He's a budget enabler. There, as Kante mentioned, there could be some sidewise move as well, but you have at least two Man United. And for Brighton, you also have Sanchez, and Mopa is an option, or you can have Cucurella as well. In that case, you might not have Digne. Okay, but however you want it. But I think Sanchez and Ramsdale rotates pretty well in this time. Okay, and people might be thinking about David De Gea as well, and definitely David De Gea is a very good option
Mm-hmm.
to attack game week 25 as well. So the reason we put Ramsdale, there is a reason, because again, we'll talk later. There is a fixture swing in the 28. So if you play wildcard right now, right, so you still have like um, around 14 game weeks 14, but there are more games to be played as well, right? So you have to think later as well. So that's why Ramsdale is here. Now, in 26, we know that Liverpool might have double now. It's very high likelihood, right? So Liverpool three assets, we put it here. And Rafinha, we put Rafinha here because Leeds is also having double, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's why we're putting Rafinha. And if there is a double double of Brighton, then you will have Sanchez or whoever you bring, Cucurella or Mopai, right? So then in 26, this team will be very good, right? You have like
Six
three to
doublers.
five, six
Yeah.
doublers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is gonna be a very good option to attack as well, right? And that's why probably people are doing like wildcard here, right? That they might not have options to attack those game weeks. Okay. And another option is that free hit in 27 is very popular, as you guys know, right? And that's why it's popular, because in 27 Arsenal and Liverpool are blank,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you are like, say three Liverpool, and if you have like Arsenal as well, then if four of them are benched, right, for instance, then whom are you going to play? So it's very popular. But now if you already used one of your free hits chips, then you might want to use this in the later part of the season. Then this could be a template or like a draft where you could probably avoid that free hit, because we'll show later as well. In 27 you will have 11 playing players. Okay. So anything you want to add, because that's basically up to
Yeah.
27.
Yeah. I mean, the
uh,
point of if you're really playing your wildcard in Game Week 24, you absolutely have to attack the double game weeks in 25 and 26, right? Otherwise, why are you playing wildcard anyways in 24? I mean, you have to. I don't think there is any other way you can go. So, absolutely, as you mentioned, you get into Manchester United players, Brighton players, Liverpool, of course, and Leeds potentially. So yeah, I mean that's absolutely has to be the goal of playing the wild card in game of 24, right? Attack the doubles. Anything you want to add, ZD?
No, yeah, I mean, that's the basically reason, right? If you want to wildcard, then you are actually you want to attack right now, like from 24 to 27, and also have good coverage beyond 27. So, and if you can save a free, that could be handy later part, like
Mhm.
after game week 30.
Right.
Right.
And yeah, yeah, so as you mentioned, right, that good coverage. So now let me talk why we picked Ramsdale, or we picked Ramsey or Digne, right? Although they don't have any doubles announced yet, right? It's because of the balance, because we have to think moving forward as well. And uh,
Hmm.
there is a fixture swing, as we're going to discuss later in game week 28, where you need some team people, players like Chelsea or Arsenal. We'll see later. So if we have them, like Rams, I mean, we have at least three of them here, right? And it's a flexible structure, if you see, because after 28 we might not need Man United asset, right? And then we might need Watkins or even Lukaku, because Chelsea's picture is coming good. So you can downgrade Ronaldo, and you can come back to Watkins or Bamford or Lukaku or DCL. It's a downgrade, and you can then upgrade like Ramsey to Mount or Coutinho, Martinelli, Saka, because Arsenal's fixture is coming very good after 28. So it's a kind of flexible fixture where you can also kind of a little bit restructure your team, have a good coverage after 28 as well. And couple of the alternative sidewise move, as I mentioned, like you can have Ramsey to Elanga. Like in that case, you may have to budget wise Dalo to itinerary, or even to also Mopai to Edward, because Palace's fixture is good. They are playing in Norwich, and is it Brentford? I forgot, but they have a good two fixtures coming. So
Yeah,
you can
sure.
have Edward as well if you want Cucurella. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that's kind of all. And I mean
I mean,
it's
another quick thing is that if you are wildcarding in game week 24, bench boost in 25 could be popular also. You have to kind of think about your team according to that also. See, since you are wildcarding and you don't want to have like 15 playing players in your team with the budget spread around for the rest of the season, so ideally you would want to play your bench boost as soon as possible, potentially in 25. So that's why we were talking about like an Elanga, right, instead of a Ramsey. Ramsey is more of a long term thing, but Elanga is more of a short term thing. So if you really want to attack bench boost in game of 25, you take Elanga instead of Ramsey, right? That's essentially the idea. But again, it depends on what your chip strategy is going to be. But ideally, that's what you want to do. You are using your second wildcard. You want to make sure that you play your bench boost while you have all your 15 playing players in the squad. Okay. All right. So let's move on. So the next one is just kind of follow up from the previous one, right? How would this World Cup draft look like from 24 to 27 without any transfers, right? Essentially, that's what we are trying to show here. You want to quickly talk about it, Rangla?
Yeah, it's just like, as Kante mentioned, is I mean, if you keep this team as it is, definitely you're going to do some transfer, but this is how it's going to look like. And I think it have a good coverage in terms of captaincy and players, as we discussed already. Like
Hmm.
in 24, anyone can be captain. 25, you are captaining Ronaldo because they are doubling. 26, Salah, they are doubling. And 27, as you can see in the bench, all the Liverpool, you have Ramsdale, but still you have
Blankers.
11
Yep.
playing players. And you have also Ronaldo as a captain. They are playing against Watford. It's a good
Hmm.
captaincy option. You have Broha um, against Norwich. It's a good option as well. And you have other players as well, like two City and Villa and Bowen there as well. So I
Right.
think it could be like if you want to avoid free hit, you can,
Yeah.
especially if you have only one free hit in your hand.
Yeah, that
Yep.
was another one of our point, right? So if you really are wildcarding in 24, make sure that you have your team set up for 27 when Arsenal and Liverpool and Chelsea, Leicester are blanking. If you don't plan to play your free hit, if you say have only one free hit left, so you would want to probably skip because it's a smaller blank. You want to save your free hit for a bigger blank or a bigger double game week, right? So if you don't want to use your second free hit in game week 27, definitely make sure that you set up your team so that you don't have to make like bunch of transfers when you are at 27, right? So that's how the team is set up essentially. Even though you are, as Wrangler mentioned, benching Salah, Jota, and TA and Ramsdale, you still have 11 pretty good playing players, right? Ramsey is probably not ideal, but not too bad either. So that's basically the idea.
And you can transfer Jota out as well if you want.
Yeah,
You
in
have
game week
like
27, you
Foden,
can,
yeah, you
yeah,
can
you can
bring him.
make a
One
move
thing though
and make
also
them happen.
to add, that if you don't plan to play free hit in
Hmm.
27, then I would not suggest to bring any Arsenal attacker in the team.
Hmm.
That's because you will have already three from Liverpool
Cool. Yeah.
expecting. Now, if you have another attacker from Arsenal, then you will have four bench, right? You cannot do that, or you cannot
Yeah.
afford doing that. Ramsdale has an option because it's a goalie. You can do that, right? So just kind of a suggestion. If I mean, there are several ways to go, but just kind of a thought.
Okay. All right. So let's move on. So the next one is again kind of a follow-up item on the Game of 24 wildcard. What are the potential downsides of playing the wildcard now, right, in Game of 24? And again, as I mentioned, a lot of people probably has already activated it, but people who are still thinking about Game of 24, give it a second thought, right? And this is why we think you should give a second thought. So of course, we are kind of in a situation where we only know about one double for sure in Game Week 25. We have a potential idea about a Game Week 26 double, but that's it, right? But there are still plenty of fixtures to be rescheduled, and a lot of teams that are in Europe, in Champions League or in Europa or in the Conference League, Conference Cup, they will basically Premier League will try to schedule their fixtures as soon as possible, right? Any of the midweeks where they are open. So there could be other doubles slotted into game week 26, 28, 29, and so on, right? So a lot of missing information that we don't know about. So of course, right now at this point, it looks like a very good move that, hey, let's attack the Manu double, Brighton double, Liverpool double. Of course, we all have Liverpool players anyways. So it's kind of a short-term thinking, right? In a way, kind of a 3, 4, 5 game week thinking. If you are only thinking about attacking those doubles, as we mentioned, if you are wildcarding now, absolutely you have to attack these doubles. But you are kind of missing out in a way, planning for all the doubles that are coming later, right? So that's one thing. Another very important thing to look out for, and again, this has been pretty popular in the last few days on Twitter, uh, is the big fixture swing on Game of 28, right? So a lot of teams have positive fixture swings like Chelsea, Arsenal, Leeds, Southampton, Wolves, and so on. Amazing fixtures, right? Starting game week 28. Big swing, especially for Chelsea, like after the blanks and everything. Arsenal also after the blanks. So opportunity there, right? And then few of the teams that we are targeting now in the wild card or even with our free transfers, right? Even if we are not wild carding now, of course, we are going to target the doubles, right? So Manchester, Brighton, Aston Villa has very good fixtures in the next 4 or 5 game weeks. So we are all targeting these players, right? But all of a sudden, all of those teams kind of turn in the different direction schedule wise, right? So that's another thing that we have to keep in mind. Arsenal, as Wrangler was mentioning, their fixtures are kind of in a mixed bag. So they, of course, right now, as we know, they blank in 25 and 27, but there is a very high likelihood, well, at least some likelihood, that they may double in game week 28 or 29 or might double twice also, right? There is a small likelihood of that also before game week 29, so in that time frame. So it's kind of a mixed bag, right? So if you are again wildcarding now, as we mentioned in the previous one, the only Arsenal player you have is Ramsdale, and as Wrangler mentioned, we wouldn't probably put a Arsenal midfielder or attacker in our team because we already have 3 Liverpool players, right? That we have to bench in 27. So it's kind of hard to plan, right? If do you target Arsenal? Do you not target Arsenal? Completely forget about Arsenal. So when you are in game of 28, you are all of a sudden you have to kind of firefight a lot of things, right? You want to attack all those good fixtures. You want to get rid of the people like from Manchester United, Brighton, and Aston Villa. You want to get into Arsenal again, right? Because they may double and so on. And also another fact is that the game week 30 blanks will be known before game week 28, right? So the FA Cup games will be done by then. So you'll for sure know who are going to blank in game week 30. So again, more information, right? So wildcard for me, the second wildcard especially, is the most important chip out of everything else. Forget about like bench boost, triple captain, free hit, whatever you want to think of. Those are more like short term things, like 1 week thing. Wildcard, essentially, you are preparing your team for the rest of the season. So, right, so you are not only planning for the next 3, 4, 5 game weeks, you are essentially planning for the rest of the season, where there are going to be a lot of other new information that we are going to potentially get in the next few weeks about doubles, postponements, and so on. So basically, if you play your wildcard now, you are missing out on the chance later on when other people will have a better opportunity with all the information to attack the doubles better, right? With all the doubles, and we'll see in a moment what those doubles are. But yeah, so that's essentially the idea, and it's not necessarily we're saying that you have to wildcard in game week 28. That's just kind of a milestone, right? Again, 29, as soon as you go past 29, 30 is going to be a big blank. So again, by that time you have more information. You can use your wildcard potentially any time between 31 to 34, 35, even like all the way down to the like 37 game week, whatever works out best for you, right? Given your team structure. So that's basically the idea, I think. And I think we all three of us kind of agree that playing the wild card now doesn't have as much upside as you would have playing it either in game week 28 or post game week 30. Any thoughts on this, ZD?
Yeah, I think the most important factor is we don't know when the rest of the double game week is going to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now, if we wildcard as Wrangler showed, the players, potential players, I mean, they will that will change in like from 28, because
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I might get good points in 4 game weeks, but what will happen later, right? You have to take probably
Yeah.
minus 12 or more than that. So it's better probably to play um, once
Mm-hmm.
you have all the information. So that is possible after game week 28, not necessarily game week 28 probably, but probably from 28 to any point, right? So yeah, I think for me, I think cons, I mean, it's better to play later rather than playing right now.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
wanted to quickly mention Akib is here with us. I'm not sure if he's still here, but he was here. At least he made some comments. Hello, Akib. Wrangler, you want to add something to this?
So you may have upside having wildcard. We don't know, but as ZD mentioned, right, that yes, you might have upside now, but later after 28, you might need a lot of hits
Mm-hmm.
to kind
To
of
fix the team.
restructure
Yeah.
your team, right? Fix the
Mm-hmm.
team, and then like people will have their, I mean, you'll be also have probably fear of market out too, because people will have chips their hand. They will probably do bench boost, or like whatever they do, then you might have to have heat to bring those players, right? So
Correct.
whatever you do in the wildcard, just think, I mean, we again don't discourage people. Definitely it's your call, you can do it, but
Mm-hmm.
think deep that what are you going to do after 28. So just
Right.
consider that as well. So that's just wanted to convey.
Another
Mm-hmm.
thing is like say when Man United will play their double game week in 25, right? So after
Mm-hmm.
that they will not have any double game week. So,
Yes.
and
Nothing to
uh,
be rescheduled.
those
Yeah.
who already have West Ham asset, they don't have any double game week
Double
as well.
already. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Man City will not have any double game week, although they are good asset, but they will not give it any double game week. So you
Good
cannot
point. Yeah.
when you will have like say some people say Leicester have 13 game like
Mm-hmm.
out of 10, you want those asset, right? So
Yeah.
in that case, you will have probably 7 8 players who does not have double, and probably you will want to get rid of
Yeah.
4 or 5 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but again, there is some choice like who has good double gimmick, who has bad double gimmick, right?
Right.
So you will lose your flexibility.
Absolutely.
By the way, Man United can still have double if in 30 if it's blank, right?
Well,
So
30, most people are going to blank,
blank.
and
So
I mean,
those will
most
be
of the teams
rescheduled
will,
again.
yeah,
So
most
yeah,
of the
Okay,
teams will
yeah, yeah.
double in 34 or
yeah.
36,
But
somewhere
yeah,
like
you're
that.
right. Whatever you said, like this is probably the last.
In the short
Um,
term, at least, they're
yes,
not going to
exactly.
double
Yeah.
before.
So
Yeah.
Yep.
All righty. Good discussion again, guys. So just again, kind of connected. This is from the transfer algorithm, Mikkel Togbam. They have their whole algorithm, the model set up to kind of suggest transfers that you want to do. So this is basically input into their model, right? So they kind of work out the probability distribution of the teams that can double or blank in the upcoming game. So this is showing essentially from all the way from 24 to 38. As we were saying, right? So 27 is of course blank for 4 teams: Leicester, Arsenal, Liverpool, and Chelsea. Uh, 30 is going to be a big blank. Wrangler briefly mentioned about this. So as far as we know now, potentially up to 10 to 12 teams maybe can blank. So very pretty big blank game with this one, game week 30. What's interesting is that the numbers, if you look at the sums at the bottom, is basically anything above 20 means that one or more teams are going to double, right? So, say in game week 28 and 29, as we again briefly discussed before, that Arsenal has a potential to double. Uh, and then anything beyond game week 30, almost every game week is going to be a double, right? There is no way that they will be able to reschedule all the postponed fixtures without having one or more doubles in pretty much every game week, right? So that's essentially the opportunity that we are talking about, right? If you play your wild card post game week 30, you are done with your game week 30 blanks and everything, you navigate it with whatever, either with your free hit or with your free transfers. But then you basically jump on to all the people that are going to have doubles, or you by then know it's basically 31 to 38 is 8 game weeks. So say some teams have like 12 fixtures to be played in that 8 game weeks, right? So you absolutely jump onto those players and you know they are going to double in that time frame, right? 33, 34, potentially 36 and 37, those are going to be the big doubles, big double game weeks. 34 or 33, one of them also can be like blank for a few teams and double for a few teams, right? So there are like kind of a mixed bag things in some of those fixtures where you really want to target some of the teams more aggressively, avoid some of the teams more. So again, going back to our previous discussion, wildcard now seems good or feels good because you know about some of your doubles, but there are more information to come, especially after game week 30, when you'll be able to attack even more. And then if you don't have your wildcard versus the people that have wildcard, you will kind of feel kind of falling behind, right? That hey, they are getting all the players that have all these fixtures, good doubles, good triples, maybe even so on. There's a good likelihood I saw somewhere that Lister made triple in game week 36 and 37, right? Because they are still in Europe. If they are still in Europe for the next few, like next couple of months or so. Um, but yeah, so that's something that is very interesting, of course, and it's connected to your cheap strategies that we'll talk about next. But anything quickly on this, ZD or Wrangler? Kind of makes sense, right? Why
Yep.
would we want to wildcard post game week 30?
Yeah, if you see the column 36, right? I mean, it's a
Yeah,
huge double.
that's going to be a big double. Yeah. Alrighty, so let's move on to our last section. Again, it's kind of in the same flow. We are going to talk about the cheap strategies in general. Again, this is more of a generic idea, right? Kind of a 30,000 feet view idea. What you may or may not want to do, right? Or kind of possibilities at least. Wrangler, you want to quickly run through this and then we talk about it?
Yeah, so basically, like, you have right now 5 chips if you have 2 free hits, otherwise 4 chips, let's say. So now free hits, right? This is gonna be like, kind of people will want to know that when they can play, right? And 27, as we discussed before, it's a uh, good time to attack the fixture because you have Liverpool blanking and Arsenal blanking, and as we saw before in game week 19, free hit was very popular because there was no like Liverpool game at that time, right? So you can get rid of Salah, you can get rid of Trent and Jota. They are very expensive player, and you can actually restructure your team, and those people are benefited. And 27 is kind of the similar situation as well. And there are some good fixtures like Palace versus Newcastle. Like Newcastle is not a like they have a good team now, at least defensive wise. We'll see, but at least Palace is a good side. Man United is playing Watford. Hoping you already have them, but still you can attack more if you want to double up with the attacks.
Mhm.
Man City, Everton, right? So and Spurs is playing Leeds and Southampton versus Norwich, right? So if you don't wildcard, say, so this 27 is, and also if you have 2 free hit in your hand, 27 is an option. And if even if you wildcard, 27 is a good option to
Mhm.
have a free hit. Now 30, as we talked several times, 30 is a big blank, right? So that's where like Man City, like Liverpool and Man United are not gonna probably play because they are playing against each other in 30, and one of them are gonna go to the FA Cup like next round, right? So I
Hmm.
think then they are not gonna play. So who are the possible players? So Aston Villa, possible, yes, like teams. Aston Villa and Arsenal, it's kind of confirmed. It's already
Hmm.
confirmed that they are gonna play. So that's for sure. And others like Watford, Everton, then Leicester City, Brentford. So Brentford and Everton are playing FA Cup over this weekend. So
Hmm.
out of this, whoever loses, they're gonna uh, play in 30, and then Burnley,
Well, there is
Southampton.
another round in between.
Right,
That's
right. But
before game of
there is
27. Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, there is a possibility, right?
Hmm.
And then Burnley and Southampton and Newcastle and Palace. Like these are possible. Again, it's not certain yet. There
Right.
could be a big blank. So 30 is an option, and as Kante mentioned, in 33 or 34, there could be enough time that some team might have blank and some team might have double. So that's where you might also kind of attack that game week with a free hit, right? So
Hmm.
that's another option. So here I'd like to actually give a shout out to Pras and Sonaldo. They had a beautiful pod in the Burning Series question. So probably most of you already saw that. If you haven't, definitely go and watch. And that was a brilliant discussion, and we actually got a lot of idea from there too.
Hmm.
Just to kind of shout out to them. So that's kind of free hit. Triple captaincy, like I think 26 would be very popular, given now Liverpool is playing doubles and it's Leeds and Norwich, right? And another is like after 30, right? We don't know that, so definitely people might be thinking about that. And bench boost, if you play wildcard now, people might be thinking to attack, right? So it could be 25 or 26 too, because it's a good fixture in 26
Yep.
after 30. And wildcard, as you mentioned, 24, 28, or after 30. So those are the cheap strategies I think people are thinking. And now you have to kind of find out based on your team which one you follow, right?
Hmm.
But those will be the like time or miles, kind of, you think to play those chips.
Yeah.
Anything to add,
Yeah.
ZD? What's your plan?
Uh, my
Any?
plan could be wildcard in 28, and if I play wildcard in 28, then I will free it on 30, I believe,
Okay.
unless all the chips will be after 31 to 38. I'm not going to play free it in 27.
Okay.
That's
Hmm.
for sure.
Okay.
Yep.
What about
Yeah.
you, Kante?
Similar. I mean, wildcard 28, I'll think about it once I get there, given again the information that we have. I'll try to kind of delay it as long as possible, maybe post game week 30. But yeah, if I think that my team is in a very bad situation, I think one thing important to remember is be flexible with your chips, right? Don't
Mhm.
think that now we are at game week 24. I am thinking that okay, I'll wildcard in game week 28. By the time I get there, my team is maybe in a good situation, but because I thought of it like 5 game weeks ago, it's kind of a psychological thing, right? That plays. I did that mistake last year because I planned my chips ahead of time, and by the time I got there, even if I did not have to play the chips, I played because I planned for it, right? So don't let that happen to you. So of course, be flexible with all your chips. uh, Look at the fixtures, look at your team structure. Doesn't matter if everyone else on Twitter is wildcarding on game of 28. It should not prompt you to wildcard on game of 28, right? So you have to think about your team, your own structure. And there is nothing like one size fits everyone for this strategy or this plan, right? So every team is different. Everyone has different plans. So just plan accordingly. But of course, plan smartly, right? So like whenever you are wildcarding, make sure that you kind of lump together your bench boost with that. Play your free hits, whether in blanks or in a double game week. Maybe in a big double game week, you can still play a free hit, right? That's still a valid option. So think about that ahead of time, like when you want to play that. But again, be flexible when time comes. But yeah, that's about it, I think. Anything else that you guys wanted to add?
What's Wrangler's plan?
Yeah,
I
what's your
think I'm
plan?
gonna play everything from 30. I am not also tempted to play free hit in 27,
Hmm.
and I'm not also tempted to play wildcard in 28 as of now.
Yep.
But I will see how it goes.
Yeah.
So I will probably do everything after, like from 30. So first free hit in 30, and then moving forward 31 or 32. We'll see how the
Hmm.
fixture looks like, and that's how I'm gonna attack. Probably we'll see how it
Yep.
goes.
All right. So just a few shout outs. Thank you, Wrangler. You reminded us of the Pras and Sonaldo video, the burning question video. Uh, we did not talk a whole lot about the Game Week 24 wildcard. So if you want to learn more about it, kind of get more ideas, more detailed ideas, I really like the above average FPL's video with Sonaldo and Keshav with FPL Bruno. They did a wonderful video a couple days ago, I think. So go into YouTube and look out for the above average FPL latest video, like a 1 hour 40-minute video just on Game of 24 Wildcard. Right? So if you are thinking about it, absolutely go and watch that video. And also a couple of shout outs to FPL USA, which is basically or was basically started by Black Wolf and FPL Theorist. It has grown over the last few game weeks. It's really a vibrant community right now. I'm really enjoying kind of communicating with everyone on Twitter from the FPL US community. So shout out to them. Hopefully, we'll try to do like a space before the Game Week 24 deadline. We'll see. And also another shout out to our FPL BD community, which is our Bangladeshi FPL community. So all three of us, we are from Bangladesh, and we are of course very proud of that, proud of our identity. So we kind of started interacting with our Bangladeshi community on FPL Twitter as well recently. Again, we are kind of just started to grow. Hopefully, we'll grow more. But yeah, just wanted to kind of give quick shout outs to all this. All right. Any ending comments, Wrangler or CD? Good discussion, guys. Very, very nice talking to both of you. I think it was, again, as I said, macro discussion, but I enjoyed talking to both of you
Mhm.
about all this. All right.
Right. Yep.
Yep. Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Please
you, guys.
like and subscribe or subscribe to our channel, and we'll meet you guys soon. Thank you. Bye bye.